Welcome to Fight Club 24/7. My name's Johnny Rashman. Right, let's get straight into it. Devin Haney versus Regis Progress goes down this Saturday night. Right, it's a great fight. It's a 50-50 fight. It's not going to be an exciting, thrilling, battle of the ages type of fight where both fighters are throwing the kitchen sink at each other. I don't think it's going to be that kind of fight. I think it's going to be intriguing and it'll be exciting in bursts, but I think both fighters will be playing a game of chess with each other. There's so much on the line that both fighters, they're going to be a bit cautious early on, and I think the fight's going to take a few rounds for it to warm up. But I think it'll be a good fight. I don't think it's going to be, like I say, it's not going to be an exciting fight, but it's going to be a good, high-level, world-class 50-50 fight. And this is what you're getting with these two guys, right? These are avoided fighters, right? Devin Haney, for me, gets more stick than any fighter out there. I don't understand it, right? Okay, you might not be a fan of his style. Is he the most boring fighter to watch? No. Is his style just not fan-friendly at all? No, right? He is a world-class fighter, right? He has world-class ability. Okay, he might not be able to knock you out with one punch, but he has enough power to stop you in your tracks. I was never the biggest fan of Devin Haney, but the moment he signed that contract against George Kambosos, my mind changed. Because it wasn't just that fight, it was what happened after that. He had to sign a rematch clause. He had to have the rematch in Australia. It doesn't matter if he won or lost at the first fight. He then had to have another two fights with Top Rank. You know, this is not just a fighter fighting for the world title. This is a fighter who's tied into a contract, who has to fight the opponent in his opponent's backyard twice. And Devin Haney said, you know what? I'm going to back myself to do it. None of the other so-called superstar lightweights was interested. Not Teofimo, not Tank, not Shakur. Okay, he was at a different weight at that stage. But not Ryan Garcia. They weren't interested. They were not interested. Devin Haney said, you know what? I've got a chance to become an undisputed world champion. And I'm going to take it. Right? And I thought it was a disgraceful contract that he had to sign. To fight Kambosos twice in Australia. You know, no disrespect to George Kambosos, right? The guy has achieved unbelievable things. Right? He's not an elite fighter. He is a good, solid, world-class fighter, but you're not going to remember him with the likes of your Floyd Mayweather, Canelo's, and that's fine. But for me, I didn't think he was in a position to dictate terms. And for him to demand to have the rematch, no matter if he won or lost, in Australia again, and Haney signed up to that, for me, that confirmed that Devin Haney wants all the smoke, right? Because we always used to think, is he avoided or is he turning down challenges? You know, Loma was the franchise champion of WBC and he had a belt. Was he the world champion? Was it Loma? You know, there was all that going on for a few years. But that confirmed that this guy will fight anyone. And that's what he did. He went to Australia twice, took the undisputed world belts, right? And then fought Lomachenko in the fight after. Like, this is someone who wants to fight the best. Right? Okay, he might not be the biggest pay-per-view draw, but his name's getting bigger because he's winning. He's 25 years of age. He's an undisputed world champion. Right? That's crazy. That's insane. You can't not respect that. And he goes and beats Prograis. He's a two-weight world champion, former undisputed world champion, and a two-weight world champion. So you have to take your hats off to him. Right? This is a guy who's going after avoided fighters. Right? I'm not being funny. You've got Teofimo, doesn't look like he's interested in defending his world title. Ryan Garcia doesn't look like he wants to fight the best of the best. You know, okay, he fought Tank, big fight, right? But does he regularly want to fight the best? You've got Tank Davis, who I think is probably the best out of all of them, but he's more interested in getting the biggest money fights with the lowest reward. You know, he's not scared of anyone. Listen, he's not. But the excuse of him not fighting the best around just doesn't really wash anymore. Okay, he's the biggest draw, fine. But that shouldn't stop you from fighting the best fighters in the world. And I'm a Tank fan, I am. I think, like I say, I think he could be the best. But him and his management team are not demanding to fight the best. Why is he not fighting Lomachenko? Why do we have to watch the Pitbull Cruz fight again? Are we really that bothered to watch that fight again? Cruz looked horrific in his last fight. I don't really want to see it, you know. So this is not someone who's saying, I want to be undisputed world champion. I want to fight the best. This is, well, I'm the biggest draw and I'm going to fight the biggest money fight possible with the least amount of risk. Now, I know he's fought Ryan Garcia, but let's get the right. There's a rehydration clause. There were stipulations. Would that fight have happened if they never agreed to all the stipulations? If Garcia never agreed to it? Probably not. So, you know, so how can you have a go at Devin Haney? Devin Haney is out there saying, I want to be the fucking best and I want to fight the best. And now he's fighting Prograis. Again, another avoided fighter. You've got to take your hat off to the bloke. But in regards to the fight, I think it'll be very close. As I say, it'll be a bit cagey early on. I think it'll warm up the fight. But I think Devin Haney will win this fight. I think this is the perfect timing. He's 25 years of age. He's in his prime. He's not stripping down, killing himself to make the weight. Look at the Kambosos fight. Really looked like he was struggling to make the weight. He looks full now. He doesn't have to worry about making that weight. And I think this is the right timing to catch Prograis. You know, Prograis, what is he, 34, 35? He's always fought around like welterweight. You know, as your body gets older, it's harder to make that weight. Is he struggling at the weight, Prograis? He might be. He does look a little bit tight on a few of the pictures I've seen this week. So I think Devin Haney's team are thinking, this is the right time. The guy's going to be a little bit tight at the weight. Haney's in his prime. They think it's the right timing. And I just think the busyness of Devin Haney will win. Now, the best thing that Devin Haney does is his punch output is good, but he's very economical. He doesn't waste punches. He doesn't just throw punches for the sake of throwing them. And he doesn't just fight in bursts. You know, there's some fighters who will take a minute off and then do a flashy combination, take another 20 seconds off, they fight in bursts. You know, Canelo Alvarez has made a career out of it. This is someone who's very, very smart and fights in bursts, and it's more quality over quantity. Devin Haney is quality and quantity. Right, he's very economical, but he throws a lot as well, and he invests to the body. He's very, very smart. Against Lomachenko, again, a lot of stick he got in that fight. You're not going to have easy fights when you're fighting the best in the world. You know, he's not going to obliterate them. It was a close fight. I thought he won the fight. Shouts of robbery, absolutely nonsense. He won the last 2 rounds, if I can remember. But what he did very smartly was he invested in the body early on, right? And it's sometimes you don't want to give fighters the benefit. They don't want to go into the body because you want to see flashy headshots and 6-punch combinations. But what he was doing was 1s and 2s to the body, taking a step back, not just throwing for the sake of throwing, but really investing to the body and not just tapping it. Really solid shots. Now, they may not look like it's hurting your opponent, but over a sustained period of time, it will break you down. And he was breaking Lomachenko down to an extent. He was stopping the feet. That's what you do against someone who's moving all the time. You've got to invest to the body. Now, yes, Lomachenko had success. He's a world-class fighter, right? But Devin Haney won that fight. So I think, he will go to the body, look to target it. He's very good with the right hand over the top. That's his honey punch. He'll go to the body, or will jab. He will feint, jab, bang, he'll come in over the top, and that's a dangerous punch for him, and he throws it well to the body as well. So I expect him to go to the body a lot early on, try and slow Prograis down. I think Regis will have a bit of success, but I think he will start to headhunt a lot. I think he'll realise he's down in the fight, and I think as the fight gets on, he'll gamble a bit more, and it will leave the openings for Haney to get his combinations off. And I just think the better work will come from Devin Haney, the cleaner work, and maybe the punch output will be busier, so he's going to be busier and it's going to be cleaner looking. I think, like I say, Prograis will have success, but I think it will just be the 1-2s and just him really looking to try and stop Devin Haney, where I think Devin Haney will, the ring generalship, and I think he will navigate himself in this fight really well, really smartly. You know, he's not just going to throw punches because the crowd's booing, you know. He will go to the body, go to the head, he'll mix it up. And I think that's what will win in the fight. And I think he'll win it It's not going to be quite comfortable. It's a 50-50 fight, right? It is. He might get dropped. You don't know. But I think he will win this. There won't be a doubt that he's won the fight. I think he'll win it by 3 or 4 rounds. And I think you have to put more respect on Devin Haney's name because he wants to fight the best. He's collecting belts, right? These other so-called superstars, they're not, Ryan Garcia, not a world champion. Tank Davis, what is he, a WBA interim and all that? You want to see him get all the belts. That's what you want to see. We're not seeing it, Shakur. Where's he going to go now? He's disappointing performance last fight. He's going to find it extremely hard to get the big names to the table now. So he's in a bit of a difficult situation. So when you're looking at everything at a hold, there's only one man who's looking to create history, to challenge himself against the best, and that's Devin Haney. Now, you might say, well, he's got no choice because he's not a big pay-per-view star. Right, fine. But he's becoming a star because he's winning these belts. He's creating history. This is a former undisputed world champion. That's set in stone, right? That's in the history books. So I think he's a phenomenal fighter. Is he the best fighter out of all of them? I think he's up there. I think Tank is the best. Right, I do. I think he's that good. He's the thing with Tank is he's got that knockout power. He's got that equaliser that will shut your lights out. And he's very smart as well. Does he look as slick as Shakur Stevenson? No, but he's just as smart in the professional boxing ring. Believe you me, he's very, very smart. I've said it many times. He's cut from the Floyd Mayweather mold. He's a sensational fighter. But we want to see him fight the best. We want to see him do what Devin Haney's doing. Going up in weight, winning world belts, not finding the easiest world titles possible. He's fighting the best, Devin Haney. And that's what we want to see across the board. But it's a phenomenal fight. I'm looking forward to it. I did post on my social media a few days ago about the DAZN schedule. The December schedule is absolutely sensational. I mean, credit where it's due. Listen, we've all given DAZN stick. Are they perfect? No. I still think they have problems with how they're promoting fights. The Sonny Edwards and Bam fight next week. What a fight that is. What's the promotion? There's been nothing. A few press conferences. A face-off for half an hour. I said months ago, this was the time to shine a light on the smaller divisions. Right, let's have a 24/7 type program 4 weeks before the fight. Let's see the fighters' teams. Let's see the fighters outside the ring. Let's see how they prepare for the fight. Let's see it. Let's become part of this. Let's see the stories. I always hear promoters say you've got to tell the fighters' stories. Well, tell him. We've got to have more promotion, but the schedule is phenomenal. Ryan Garcia, Durante last week. Katie Taylor was the week before, but you had Michael Conlon. That was a phenomenal card in Ireland. Right, it was a double header. You've got Prograis Haney, 50-50 fight, former undisputed world champion. You've got Sonny Edwards and Bam unified fight, flyweight fight. Then you've got the Day of Reckoning, the big heavyweight fight. I mean, that is what we signed up for. Now, if you're from the States, you're going to have to pay 2 pay-per-views. Haney and Prograis on pay-per-view in the States, and obviously Joshua and Wallen will be. The UK, we get it part of our subscription, the Haney fight. Obviously, Anthony Joshua's fight, we'll have to pay pay-per-view, but it's not $50 or anything like that. He's like £20. So you do have, it is 2 pay-per-views if you're an American fan or if you're from different parts of the world, not the UK. But you can't really complain about that schedule. It's absolutely phenomenal. That's what we signed up for. That's what we want to see. And we just want it to continue. If they can get this nearly every month, and it was easier said than done, they're onto a winner, aren't they? It's sensational. There's no other broadcaster who is churning out the boxing content like DAZN are. They're not. Now, some might have great fights every 3 months, 4 months, fine. They're not doing it regular. DAZN, it's week in, week out. I'm sat there in my house, right? I've got a peanut butter sandwich, a cup of tea, and I'm watching the fights. And it's every week. It's flowing, right? That's what we want. You can't argue as a boxing fan. It's absolutely sensational. But we just need to get a little bit more promotion on the fights, not the same stuff all the time. 1 half-an-hour program and a press conferences that no one watches. Do you really watch the press conferences? I don't. I might watch the first one, right? But I don't watch the third or second one. Right, I know Sonny Edwards and Bam, they were doing media rounds, or they were on TalkSport, but fine. But who's watching, who's listening to that at 12 in the afternoon? You know, there might be a lot of people, but how many boxing fans are really watching that? You know, if you go on the streets and say, Sonny Edwards is fighting next week against Bam Rodriguez, they'll say, who? And these are like this is one of the best fights in boxing. It is that good of a fight. So there has to be more creativity with the promotion. I've been banging on about it for years. But it's the same thing. Nothing changes if nothing changes, and it's just the same promotion for every fight. You know, we've got to get a bit more creative with it. That's the only thing missing from DAZN. That's it. But it's a fantastic schedule. You can't argue with it. Right, let me know what you think. Will Devin Haney become a 2-weight world champion on Saturday night? Will Prograis win the fight? Like, comment, subscribe, let me know.